Morning students, welcome back to your video lecture. As we have already completed our chapter in our previous videos, and now today in this video we are going to start a poem. Okay, in the and the in this poem we are basically going to read about a squirrel, and the name of the poem is Squirrel, and it is written by Mildred Bowers Armstrong. Okay, the name of the poetess is Mildred Bowers Armstrong. She is the poetess of the poem. Okay, and before we start the poem, I would like to give you a small introduction of the poem. And as we all know, that poems are basically written make to take us into an imaginary world. So this poem is also going to take us into an imaginary world of the poetess. She has seen a squirrel in her garden. She has observed the squirrel and the movement of squirrels, the appearance of squirrel, and she has observed all those things and the playful nature of the squirrel, the fast movements of the squirrel. She the poetess got attracted towards those little tiny little things, and she has created a 6-line poem about the squirrel that she saw inside her garden, or you can say somewhere near her park. So, and this poem also has an aesthetic sense inside it. What does the word aesthetic sense means? Aesthetic sense basically means beauty of something. So in this poem, the aesthetic sense basically includes the beauty of nature. Okay, the beauty of nature is being included in this poem. As we all know that there are little beautiful things that we ignore while we saw those things, but in this poem the poetess has observe the little things that the squirrel is doing. So what are those little things, and what is basically the squirrel is doing is all this poem is about. So let's before starting the poem, let's read something about it. So you may have seen a squirrel sitting on the ground eating a nut. So here it is said that we or you may have seen a squirrel that is sitting and eating a nut. As we all know that squirrels love eating nut. Nut is basically fruit. You can say fruit for them, or their tastiest eating substance. They love eating nuts. And what did it looks like? So here the question is that what does it looks like? What the sight of squirrel sitting and eating a nut. Here in this poem, here is a poetess description of just such a squirrel. So in this poem there is a poet's description of such a squirrel who is sitting somewhere and eating her nut. And nut is her favorite fruit item to eat, right? So let's start our poem. Name of the poem is The Squirrel, and it is written by Mildred Bowers Armstrong. So let's start reading the poem first. He saw a question mark for tail, an overcoat of grey. Okay, so let's start reading the poem. The name of the poem is The Squirrel, and it is written by Mildred Bowers Armstrong. So let's start reading the poem first. He wore a question mark for tail, an overcoat of grey. He sat up straight to eat a nut. He liked to tease and play, and if we ran around his tree, he went the other way. So this is the 6-line poem. So let's reread this poem again. He wore a question mark for tail, an overcoat of grey. He sat up straight to eat a nut. He liked to tease and play, and if we ran around his tree, he went the other way. So basically, in this six lines poem, the poetess is describing a little squirrel who is sitting somewhere around somewhere and is eating a nut. So how she describes the squirrel is that he wore a question mark for tail. So as we all know, that as we can look here in the picture also, that the tail of the squirrel looks like a question mark, right? So the poetess is saying that he wore a question mark for tail. Who is he here? He is the squirrel. So the poetess here has used different poetic devices, which we will talk about at the end of the poem. So here for now, you just need to understand it, that here the word he is referred to the squirrel. So the poetess is saying that the is wearing a tail, a question mark tail. Why? Because as we can see that the shape of the tail looks like a question mark. So the poetess has compared her tail, the tail of the squirrel, to the question mark. An overcoat of grey. As we all know that the color of the squirrel is gray. So she has gray fur. So the poetess here has compared her fur with overcoat, with an overcoat. What does an overcoat means? Overcoat are basically long coats that people use in to wear in cold weather. So the poetess has compared the squirrel's fur with an overcoat. So she says that, and the squirrel is wearing an overcoat of gray. Overcoat means a coat used to long coat which people wear, and of gray means it is gray in color. So the fur of squirrel, she is comparing the fur of squirrel with the gray color coat of gray color. Okay, then she says that he sat up straight to eat a nut. As we can see that this squirrel is eating nuts, and in the poetess says that the squirrel is sat up straight, that she is sitting straight and eating a nut. Okay, nut are basically the food that the squirrels are eating. Squirrel is eating, and she is eating it by how she is eating it, by sitting straight. Okay, she is eating those nuts while in the position of sitting straight. She is sitting straight. So he wore a question mark for tail and overcoat of grey. He sat up straight to eat a nut. So here the poetess is saying that the squirrel is wearing a question mark. The question mark is her tail, because it looks like a question mark to her, and an overcoat of grey, which means the fur, color of her fur, the color of squirrel's fur is grey, and he sat up straight to eat a nut. The squirrel is sitting up straight and eating her nut. He liked to tease and play. He here means the squirrel. Squirrel likes to tease and play. What does the word tease means? Tease basically means to make someone, we say ना परेशान कर देना. So the word tease means किसी को परेशान करना. So the squirrel likes to tease and play. And if we ran around his tree. So here the word we refers to the poetess and her friends. So the poetess is saying that the squirrel likes to tease and play. She likes to tease people and likes to play with them. And if we means here the poetess and her friends. So she is saying that if me and my friends are going are going there and playing with her, what does the squirrel do? The squirrel is basically teasing us and playing with us. How? By running around the tree. What does the squirrel do when they approaches the squirrel runs around his tree. Like all of you have seen a squirrel, right? And what have you have seen a squirrel, you may have seen a squirrel, and you know that if the squirrel, while you have a distance between you and the squirrel, you will observe that the squirrel is sitting there silently. But when you tries to approach the squirrel, what will the squirrel do? She will start running. So the same thing is happening with the poetess. She says that when the squirrel sees that we are approaching her to this tree, she started running. Who? The squirrel started running, and he went the other way. So, and the squirrel went to the other side. If the squirrel went to the other side where the poetess or her friends are not there. So this is a 6-line short poem in which the poetess has described the physical features or physical appearance of the squirrel, as well as the movement that the playful movement, you can say, the playful movements that the squirrel is doing. What type of playful movements? The teasing and the playing, while she tries to what she tries to do, she tries to run when the people are approaching her, or when the poetess is approaching towards the squirrel. So she started running towards the other direction. So in this in this poem, the poetess has dedicated the poem to a creature, and the name of that creature is squirrel. So this was the poem, the squirrel, written by Mildred Browns Armstrong. Okay, now let us look at the poetic devices of the poem. So what does a poetic device means? Poetic devices are basically used to make a poem descriptive. What does descriptive means? Descriptive basically means ki those devices which are used in a poem to make it more expressive. Okay, how किसी पोएम को और भी ज़्यादा एक्सप्रेसिव, और भी ज़्यादा एस्थेटिक वैल्यू देने के लिए, या और भी ज़्यादा खूबसूरत बनाने के लिए जो डिवाइसेस को यूज़ किया जाता है, दोज आर नोन एज पोएटिक डिवाइसेस. Understood? So let's see that what are the poetic devices that are used in the poem. The first poetic device is personification. Personification basically means, let's read the definition first. Personification is a poetic device where animal, plants, or even imaginary objects objects are given human qualities, resulting in a poem full of imaginary and description. So what does a personification means? Personification basically, in simple words, means that to give other animals, plants, or imaginary objects a human-like quality. Human-like quality means it is being compared to a human like qualities, like how beautiful it is, how strong it is. So these type of human like qualities are being used for some animal, plants, or even imaginary objects. So in this poem, how the poetic device personification is used, here the squirrel is being personified, means squirrel is basically given a human like quality. How we can say that? As we all know that for animals we use it, like if it is written, if we can see here that here the poetess has used word he, which is basically used for human beings, and here she has used the word he for an animal. So she has personified the squirrel by giving the squirrel the human like quality by making by doing what, by uh, saying that he, by giving the squirrel a human like qualities by directly saying the word he. She is basically putting the squirrel into a personified version. Okay, now let's, so in this poem the personification is shown by the word he. Okay, and he is here used for squirrel. The second poetic device which is used in the poem is alliteration. Okay, and what does alliteration means? Alliteration is a poetic device where two or more words in a phrase or line of poetry share the same beginning consonant sound. So what does this mean? This basically means that alliteration are those words or phrases where where the beginning of where they share same beginning of consonant sounds, means the sound that is coming from the words or the line will be of a consonant, repetition of consonant sound in a line. Okay, and what does the consonant sound means? A, E, I, O, U. Leaving these sounds, the others, rest of the sounds are of consonant, right? So let's see, let's find out what are the alliteration words in the poem. Okay, so this is the poem. So we have to find the alliteration sound, or you can say the sound that is repeating in a line. So let's look at the third line first. Okay, third line, this is the your third line. He sat up straight to eat a nut. So can you observe some in this line the consonant sound, or you can say the sound repeating again? The he sat up straight, so you can say sat, straight. These both have same consonant sound. So the same consonant sound is repeating in a line is known as alliteration. Okay, so here the third line is being alliterate. Can you see any other line in which the poetic device alliteration is used? Yes, try to find out. Yes, the sixth line. As you can see that he went the other way. Here the word went and way have the same consonant sound in a same line. Okay, so here the so in this poem the third line and the sixth line where the third and the sixth line, the poetic device here is used as alliteration. Okay. Now the third poetic device that is used in the poem is anaphora. What does the word anaphora means? Anaphora basically means anaphora is a poetic device that repetition of a word or phrase at the beginning of successive sentence, phrase or clause. What does this mean? This means that the repetition of word or a phrase at the beginning of a sentence, or you can say phrase or a clause. The word or the phrase is being repeated again and again. So let's see and try to find out that how the anaphora, the poetic device anaphora, is used in this poem. So let's see. So let's see in this poem, anaphora means the repetition of same word or phrase at the beginning of the sentence. So can you see the first sentence here? It is he. No repetition on first or second, but can you see that the third line and the fourth line have the same word repeating again and again? Two times they have the same words. So in this poem, how the anaphora is used? It is used in the third and the fourth line by using he again and again. So here the word he is being repeated again and again, and it is known as anaphora. Okay. Does anaphora means? Anaphora means repeating of word or phrases at the beginning of the sentence. Now let's see the other poetic device. The other poetic device is rhyming words. We all know how to detect a rhyming words. Rhyming words are what is the repetition of syllable typically at the end of the verse line. You can say the repetition of the word. So let's find out in this poem what are the rhyming words. Here it is your poem. So let's first underline the last word of every line. Okay, first one is tail, other is gray. Okay, the first one is tail, gray, nut, play, tree, way. So you have to now find the rhyming words of these words. Rhyming words. Is there any rhyming words for word for tail? Yes, try to find out. No. Yes, now gray. Gray. Is nut rhyming to gray? No. What is rhyming to gray? Play. Gray, play. Yes. Now, and what else now? Play and way also is rhyming. So here in this poem, what are the words that are rhyming? Word gray, play and way. These three are rhyming words. Okay, so in this poem the poetic device rhyming is used in and where it is used? Gray, play and way. Okay. So after rhyming words, what are rhyming scheme of a poem? Rhyming scheme is a poetic deliberate pattern of lines that rhymes with other line in a poem or a sentence. So uh, let let's do this. Okay, let's find out the rhyming scheme of this poem. How to find out a rhyming scheme of a poem? Let me explain. So this is your poem and we have seen that what are the words that are rhyming. Rhyming words are gray. Rhyming words are gray, play and way. Okay, these are the rhyming words. Now let me use the other marker. Okay, now the other for rhyming scheme, what we do is we write a alphabet for a line. So for first line we will write an alphabet A. Understood? For the second line we will write the alphabet B. Okay. For the third line we will write the alphabet C, and the fourth line we will write the alphabet which B. Why? Because here the word play and gray are rhyming to each other. So for those rhyming words we are going to mark the alphabet which is somewhere rhyming to the other word. So as we know that the play word is rhyming with the gray word and we have used the letter B for the word play, so now we will write B for it. Okay, now for the third one, tree. Tree is not rhyming with anyone, so we have used A, B, C. So now we will use D. So for the last line it is way and we have seen that way is B. Way has rhyming to the words. Way is rhyming to the words gray and play. So here we will use the word alphabet B, sorry. Okay, so the rhyming scheme, now the rhyming scheme of the poem is A B, yes, A B, C B and D B. So these are the rhyming scheme of the poem. How to find a rhyming scheme? What we basically do, we write an alphabet at the end of every line, and for those words where the rhyming words are occurring, we write the same alphabet. Okay, understood? So the rhyming scheme of this poem is A B C B D B. Okay, so I hope you have understood the poetic devices used in this poem and why we basically use a poetic device. So this is basically it for the video. I hope you have understood the video and you are working the work you are working properly in your offline classes, online classes also. But the worksheet that I am giving you, you have to do the work properly in your notebook and also submit it. Okay, thank you students.